What's going on, motorsports fans? This is Jared here with the Bearded Garagistas. Always with me.
Like I made a mess.
What did you do to yourself?
Nothing.
Did you just pour that all over yourself?
No, it's just condensate, but it looks like I made a mess.
All right. Well, always with me is my brother Brett.
How you doing?
And today,
you're gonna keep that in you?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna keep that in. And today, very excited to introduce my boy Erick.
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Erick, I've known Erick for a while now. Met him when I had.
I haven't.
Huh?
I haven't. I just met him.
Whatever.
How you doing?
Good.
I met him when I had my pickup truck. He used to do some work for me on my pickup truck, and now that I have my Camry, he helped me lower my Camry. He does a lot of different work on a lot of different cars, mechanic, but his expertise, his passion.
Yeah, I guess you want to call it that. You could call it that.
I think his passion lies mostly with VW, which you can see behind him. This is his, one of his. So we're going to go over a couple of things today. What got him into V-dubs, what he had before this. Some of the, I know he goes to a lot of big shows, big things he does around the country with V-dub, and we'll see what we can get into. So. Yeah. First and foremost, was VW your first car?
First car, correct. And
really?
Yeah.
Shit, I was thinking it was gonna be like some craziness.
Yeah, and I still got it. That's the GTI, the 07 Mark V GTI.
That was your first car?
Yeah. It's been about 8.5 years I had that already.
Damn.
I mean, I'm only 25, but I mean I've got already decent amount of experience.
What have you done to that? Because I know you've done a lot. Go over it all. Hit it, everything.
So that GTI has gone through many phases. I mean, it's gone from just a bass tune and just, then it went from, now I started modifying. I went just from a downpipe, and then I did some coilovers. And then after that, it was just a money pit. So, I mean.
Snowballed.
Oh, yeah. Then after that, I ended up bagging it. So many different sets of wheels, and then just little bits of here and there. A lot of OEM European parts that you can't find here in the United States, from like taillights, little bits of interior trim, and these cars are so interchangeable with different years to different, even some Audi parts. Porsches, there's so many different things. Then
you got Porsche parts on it.
Oh yeah, I had big brakes from a Porsche Brembo Cayenne Turbo.
Oh shit.
What else? I had Mercedes wheels at one time.
Is that like for VW and all the subsidiaries? Is that a cost saving measure, or is it like
a little bit of both? Some parts are cheap, some parts are a little bit more expensive. So, I mean, you can go and buy a big brake kit from Brembo themselves and spend $3,000 on a big brake kit. Or you go to a junkyard, you find a Cayenne Turbo and take the calipers off that, powder coat them, buy new rotors, buy new pads, and you have a big brake kit for $1,000.
Damn.
For all intents and purposes, VWs, they run on the expensive side in relation to like Toyota, Honda.
I would say with my experience already for the past, if it's a Toyota, if it's a Honda, if it's a Nissan, Volkswagen, their price range are pretty similar in about every way.
So then
a couple dollars here or
if
less. If
you're swapping parts, though, then you can kind of save some money in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When you start,
I know Toyota parts are expensive.
Yep. When you start swapping parts, it saves you a little bit of money here and there, and still look just as great for, you can save 25-50% off the cost on just, little things here and there. And what else do we got?
Legit.
Yeah.
What is the engine in? Because I know you changed it, or you upgraded the engine in that GTI.
So yeah, I ended up doing a big turbo, not really a big turbo, but an upgraded turbo from a Golf R. With upgraded bearings, and that brought me up with bigger injectors and a couple of those parts, about 100 horsepower, and it was great. but it was pushing the stock motor. My clutch started slipping, and I was like, oh crap, this is here goes another $3 or $4 grand going into it. So I ended up doing a clutch upgrade, and that held up for a while.
But you still did it.
Yeah, still ended up doing it. It was worth
Wasn't gonna
it.
stop them. It's just,
So-
it's just expensive.
It was, some parts are expensive, like a clutch, an ACT clutch for that cost me about $1,500.
Damn.
And yeah, it gets expensive, but I enjoyed it. But only lasted me about a year until the internal started failing, and had about 120,000 miles on the car. And I was like, all right, it's time. I've had it for a long time. I ended up pulling the motor out. Did forged pistons, rods, coated bearings, deleted the balance shaft. On the upper head, I did valve guides, valve springs, kept the stock valves. Not gonna go for 600 or 700 horsepower. Motor can handle it, but not needed. I just want a car that I can drive every day, still have AC,
That's key.
and go from point A to point B. If it's a 20-minute drive, a 10-hour drive, whatever it is, still be reliable. And that's basically what I did. I pulled the motor out. I had to actually replace the block, but I built everything myself. I sent the head of the machine shop, got it all inspected, make sure all my clearances were good, and put it all back together.
How much horsepower now?
It hasn't been on a dyno, but it needs to be dynoed. I would say in the ballpark between 350 and 400. I can't give you an exact number, but I would say in that range.
What do you have a specific dyno guy you go to or a dyno place you go to?
I need to find someone, so if someone knows,
There you go.
I need a...
We've
someone
met a
to
couple
go.
people, so
Yeah.
try to get you in the right area.
So-
what have you done to this?
Uh,
As much? Nah.
that one, not as much. It's a 2018 Passat GT, limited edition for 2018 only. It's a GTI inspired, which has the red accent on the grille, a couple of small features. Has a 3.6 VR6. A lot of people know it from the R32s, Mark V, Mark IVs. Front wheel drive base, but what I've done to it, just a small touch, nothing crazy. Just some BC coils, sway bars, big brakes front and rear, some nice Rotiform 20-inch wheels, of course some great Michelin Pilot Sport tires. You got to have a good ride. You can't have cheap tires.
This is your daily, so this is
That's
the
a
comfort
daily.
ride.
And it's a great car. It's I did a carbon fiber steering wheel in it. Nothing crazy, just small touches, and just to make it the GT feel more like a GT, the way it should have came.
Right.
And so I actually get people come up to me and like, damn, like Volkswagen made that car. And I'm like, yeah, and they're like, well, I've never seen one like that. And they're like, oh, I gave it a couple little touches, but
some of that's me. Some of that's me.
It's a Volkswagen, and people have been like, man, it's a pretty looking good Volkswagen, but I'm happy with it.
Is Volkswagen what you got into Volkswagen because it was your first car, but what kept you in Volkswagen? Because you at this point, being a mechanic, you can work on anything.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was the people. People got, meeting. I think my first car show, I went to was out in Fort Myers. It's called Eurotripper. It's been around for quite a while. And just meeting people from older generation to younger generation. I've seen a lot of, how can I say, different styles that people have done. Everyone has their own taste. But a lot of people when you go to these big shows, you can talk to them and you can talk to them for hours, and then you end up meeting, having them on Facebook and Instagram, and you're figuring out what's the next show's going on, or what's the next cool part they put in their car, or if you want to do it to your car, they have no problem going to you and giving you advice. I've seen some people where you go and you try to ask for advice and they just kind of push you off. They don't want you to know their information or what they've done.
Right.
But that's what kind of like about it. I mean, I've gone from all over Florida, North Georgia, Savannah, Georgia.
I see a lot of the bigger ones in Georgia.
Yeah, a lot of shows are in Georgia because a lot of people can come from different states. Like my favorite one I've been going to is called Alpine Bag Fair, which is Helen, Georgia, and I have friends from Vermont.
They're coming from that far?
Yeah, Texas.
Damn.
And
this is just a car show.
it's a car show, but it's literally it's a vacation. You go out there for a week or so. It's a German based town, which is pretty cool. So all the buildings, the town is literally only a mile long by a half mile wide. So you can't miss no one. Like, there's
How many cars go to this usually?
I would say from 500 to over 1,000 cars.
All Volkswagen,
Audi, Mercedes.
Damn, they get vendors out there too, or just
Vendors come out there.
Okay,
from all over.
It's like a VW. It's like a German SEMA.
Yeah,
that's SEMA.
It's kind of what you kind of say it, but you have German food.
Aggressively.
Yeah. We got to do SEMA. We got to check out SEMA.
We got to go one of these years. I'm telling you, we should just do a big trip to SEMA.
Man.
Yeah, we got to check. That'd be cool.
We're gonna drive though. Like I'm not gonna fly.
That's a long drive, man. That's.
I'll drive most of the way. You only gotta drive a couple hours.
That's about 36-hour drive.
That's far. I'm down,
man. I mean,
I'm 100% in. I go to Long Island straight through. So I'll do 21 to.
That's only 26 hours.
Well, with a baby, I'll do 21 to 25 hours straight through.
Shoot,
I could do that.
I mean, I could go fly Southwest for like $49 one way.
But then you don't get to drive your own car. You don't get to see the sights.
Oh,
like
man.
I would want to see
keep the miles off the baby.
Yeah. Just go on Turo and rent a Porsche or something for a couple of days.
Car.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. And,
so, knowing that your fan turned off, are you upset?
I'm very upset.
I'm not turning it back on. You're gonna be sweaty.
I'm already sweating.
You're gonna be sweaty by the time
I'm already
we're done.
sweating.
It's all right.
Oh boy.
What was my question gonna be?
I don't know. Could we do the rest of the show in the car?
No, you idiot. Wow, that would be an interesting podcast.
Hell
right?
yeah,
do
man!
a podcast from inside a car.
Don't lie, that was a great idea.
Driving around.
Don't lie, it was a great idea.
Being a mechanic, though, you can work on. You've worked on pretty much everything at this point, I would assume. What's your favorite thing to work on?
I don't know if I have a specific favorite thing. I think the favorite thing is factory cars. Nothing breaks. There's nothing. Everything goes smooth. Every time you modify a car, nothing always goes smooth. I mean, sometimes it goes smooth, sometimes it doesn't go perfectly smooth, or you have to keep modifying. But I mean, I still love to modify stuff, and I mean, I've done everything from. I mean, my specialty is, being a Toyota technician is lifting trucks. I do a lot. Well, not just lifting trucks, modifying pretty much all the cars, but a lot of trucks, Tundras, Tacomas, 4Runners, and different wheel fitments and how high you need to lift it before you can fit a 35-inch tire or stuff like that. But it's I like a little bit of both. I like a little bit of everything. I mean, it's kind of hard to choose just one thing.
Right.
So I kind of Oh yeah, that's better.
No.
There we go.
Put it on higher.
But yeah, that's,
We'll have to deal with the wind. It is what it is.
What else?
No, that's pretty legit.
Yeah.
I missed the end of that though because I was trying to get your fan back on for you. You happy now?
I am happy.
I was
right.
saying when you had the Tacoma, I was always doing.
You were a lift guy.
Lift guy, doing all this stuff. And,
I'll be honest
That's
with you.
literally what he just said.
Yeah, my thing is this: when I feel comfortable knowing who I'm going to, and that's a lot of the reason why I did this podcast was because I wanted people to understand who they were going to as far as shops go before they even walked in the door. I just got my car serviced actually for $20,000.
Yeah, $20,000.
It was $20,000.
Yeah.
I will only go to you. When I go up to the front door, I'm like, hey, I only want Eric to work on my shit. Don't let anybody else touch my shit. And if anybody else did touch my shit, I'd have a canary. I'm comfortable with it. I know he's going to do the right thing. I know the work that he provides, and he does great work. The fact that he works on a bunch of different cars also kind of, to me, I guess some people would probably be like, oh, well, you know, he doesn't have one thing that he works on. So, you know, if you only have one thing, you're an expert in that field. I don't feel it's that way. Yes, you know, what he normally works on is my car, but you know, you go in there and his hands are always under the hood of something different, which I like. So I kind of stick to, you know, whoever's going to do the best work, and that's why I keep going back.
Yeah, I mean, over just being at one spot for 5 years, I built that clientele base, just like you. You know, you coming in and Eric, you know what? If Eric's not touching my car, he has my number. So, you know, sometimes I'm busy and I'm like, damn, my damn phone was going off like freaking 3 times already, or like, you know.
You're at work.
And he's like,
when's a good time for me to go?
I'm like, hey man, I'm booked. So yeah, you might have to wait till Monday, but I'll make sure I get you in. I get it done right, and he'll wait. You know, he won't mind waiting. You know, not just him, multiple people. You know,
how's that make you feel?
Feels good. It feels special because sometimes when, let's say, the shop is slow, and it's not too busy, and you have 4 or 5 people, or even if it's just 2 or 3 people that are coming in just for you, you know, that's more hours that you have, and you know, it just helps you get through the week. But also, you know, I know that person has that trust with me, that I can work on the car multiple times, and you know, they have that trust where I can, for their car or their cousin's car or whatever, you know, they'll always keep, you know, that work keeps coming into me, so which is great.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
What is wrong with you,
bro? It's like I got a hole in my lip today.
I'm like, we're trying to have a professional interview here,
but it's not me. It's the soda bottle. I swear. I don't feel like
ridiculous.
You got to bleep that one out.
When's the next trip? Are you, Helen? Did that get canceled this year? Or?
Yeah, all these shows, which I was actually supposed to go. I was supposed to leave last week Wednesday, and I would have been back.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I was so ready to go. But one thing I was gonna mention was last year, when I was building the engine to the car, the GTI, I built an engine, put it in the car, and it was not even 2 weeks later, the show was coming up to go to Helen. And, you know, we're out, you know what, I got the new car, we're just going to take the Passat, we'll go up there, have a good time. But that same morning, 3 a.m, you know, like, damn, you know what, we should take the GTI. I had my cousin with me. I had my brother with me. It was like, you know what? Get the keys. We're gonna take this car. I mean, the motor only had 400 or 500 miles on it, if that. And
you took it all the way up there.
Like, yeah, it was it took us 12 and a half hours to get up there, and it made it there.
You sound surprised.
No, I got surprised, but I mean, like,
it's not a lot of, it's not a lot of miles on a brand new built engine that he custom built, and then you know, at 3 a.m. to make that decision.
Yeah, you didn't have
the time to check the car.
Yeah, and the car I put the engine in the car. You know, I put fresh oil in it. The car hasn't been back on the lift, you know, to double check anything. I mean, it's all performance parts. It's not like I just put a stock motor in there.
So like some things could be leaking. You haven't checked if there's any leaks.
Yeah, I didn't check nothing. I was like, I mean, I took my flashlight at 3 a.m, looked underneath the car. I'm like, all right, it's no oil leaking. Just no check engine light. We're going. So we literally hopped in the car, took both cars, and made it all the way up there. We tore up both of the cars for 3 or 4 days up and down the mountains. Drove back. The car never had a check engine light, never had an issue, never had a hiccup. And I'm like, all right.
Is that a testament to VW, or is that a testament as you as an engine builder?
A little bit of both. Between Volkswagen, between the parts being, you know, quality parts, and myself, you know, making sure that you know, that I did a good job on it. And you know, I was you know, I have the confidence in myself doing it. I said, you know what, we're not gonna have no issues. And as long as you have that thought, you know, that's the best thing, and just be confident in your work. And
So, I got a couple questions for you as far as like the show versus go thing. You're obviously a little more show than you are go. Right, you lowered it, you got coilovers, you do a little bit of other performance things, but you never
Yeah.
really got into the racing aspect of it.
I mean, I like it. Like, well, like for instance, like the GTA, the car is quick. It's for the street. Like, I like, you know, I would like to go to track all the time and this and that, and race a quarter, or you know, do more events. But between work and going to these shows, and you know, all my customers, you know, with work, it's kind of hard. And you know, I like to beat my stuff up, but I like to be able to not push it too far to the limit where,
Right.
oh shit, I gotta pull the engine back out and you know, go through it again. You know, I would like to just be able to be on it here and there,
Right.
and still have that same kind of like, man, this is great, but not to the point where
Beating
you know,
it up like
beating
that.
it up, and I'm dumping money out of my pocket all the time.
That makes sense.
Hey,
Would you like now? I've been, you know me, I go to the racetrack a lot.
Yeah.
You never really come up there for any type of car shows. I know you could probably win a couple. Get some hardware, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Any plans on going up to like Dreamfest at the end of the year, which is like a yes, Dreamfest is a Honda event, but it's a Honda versus everybody, so you can go up there and show
Yeah.
off the VW.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I mean, I haven't. I've kind of been lacking myself, like going to so many shows. I mean, I used to go so much, but I kind of cut back, and now doing a little bit more traveling instead of so many shows. Kind of lacked out on that before, and now like I'm, you know, like last year I was in Colorado, I was in Arizona, I was
Bro, every
all
time
over.
I'm on your
Wow.
Facebook or Instagram, this kid's doing something different. And if
So-
he's not doing anything outside of the state or on vacation, he's on his jet ski.
yeah, that's another thing. Always on a jet ski. I was out there on Sunday. I mean, man, my shoulder's a little toasty right now.
How do you get the jet ski out there? You got a trailer hitch on this?
I need to find one for this that can kind of hide, where I can kind of remove like the ball and not have it showing.
Right.
But I use my dad's. He has a Jeep Cherokee, so I just
Put performance parts on the jet ski or no?
This one's bone stock, but I mean, eventually, you never know. You never know what might happen.
You see, you put a Hayabusa engine in it like they did that.
Yeah, you've seen that one on
The
YouTube.
black one?
That black one, I think.
Bro, it just
everyone's
takes
seen
off.
that. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
so you're more build than speed.
Yeah.
You enjoy getting
I-
your hands dirty.
I like to get my hands dirty, and I mean, I like something that's quick, looks good, and you know, and reliable. That's like my big three things. And it's got to have. I don't like to use cheap parts. I like to, you know, it's got to be something that's has some kind of good name behind it, or you know, I just don't like to go on eBay or something, or you know, you get what you pay for. You buy it once, you buy it right, you know, it'll last you a long time. Sometimes, you know, I've had at first experience with, you know, trying to buy cheap parts and they only last so long, and then it's like, oh shit, I gotta buy this again.
Yeah.
Not only buy it again, you gotta do the labor again, and
Yeah.
so that's what I try to tell you, my customers. If you do it right the first time, save your money, buy quality parts, and just do it one time. You don't have to worry about it.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Test your patience.
Yeah. Well, what is patience? I don't have any of that.
No, I don't. Words
Yeah.
escape me.
Yeah, you gotta have, and working on cars, you gotta have patience. Like,
If you could have any VW, which one would it be?
you gotta be a little bit more specific.
Nah.
Old school or newer school.
Anyone. Because like, all right.
Oh,
So for me,
man.
if I could have a VW right now, the one I would have was the same one we talked about with Lewis with the shaved kitty. I would want a old school Beetle slammed with, like, you know, I'm not a chrome fan, but for some reason on those I
Yeah,
love the
look good.
chrome,
The
especially with the roof rack, like the surf rack on the
Yeah.
top.
Mhm.
The chrome, that's something that I would do. Now, I'm not a very big VW fan. I never really have been.
Yeah.
I will say that out of all the V-dubs, I like the ones that you have the most. The GTI is the normal hatch that everybody has. I like what you could do for it. There's a lot of different parts and a lot of different options you could do, so I like that.
Yeah.
And I don't mind this, but the sport version,
nice,
the GT,
man.
I like. But if you, in my opinion, the non-GT version, like the regular base model car, it just doesn't look as appealing as with the little accents they were able to put on here.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. I mean, like my mom has a base Passat, and it's a 1.8. I'm not gonna lie, it's badass. I mean, gas mileage is crazy compared to this,
Right.
but it feels like a totally different car compared to this. Having, you know, the VR6. I mean, it's
Right.
only 300 horsepower, but you have that.
But
you know,
300 horsepower in a sedan, like the
Yeah.
6-cylinder on the Toyota Camry, pumps out 307.
Yeah.
Whereas I have the 4, and the reason why I did that was because I was driving so much to and from the track,
You need the-
to and from work. I
Yeah.
live a little farther away from work, so I wanted a bit of gas mileage, so I got the 4-cylinder, and that's only 200.
Yeah.
And you could tell, like, I stump on the gas on this thing, even in sport mode, doesn't really go anywhere. Like, it is. I mean, that's just what it is. But I love the car. I love, even if it's a 4-cylinder, I love the
It's
way
a
it
great
rides, I
looking
love the way
car.
it drives. I love, you know, the iBox springs that we put on it.
Yeah.
Which, if you have never been around, I mean, most people who probably listen to the shows probably messed around with some springs. Nervous. I was so ask him. I stood across the other end of the shop. I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, hit that button, bro."
Believe it or not, I mean, when we installed those springs, the ride still was very good.
Yeah.
I mean, the quality and change, very minimal, right? Not
Yeah,
much.
Not much. It really, I mean, don't get me wrong, it feels a little lower. The only time I ever really feel it is train tracks and potholes.
Yeah.
Because I could definitely feel it, you know, come off that bump stop.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really feel, you know, it's a comfortable ride.
And it's not too low. And, I mean, for being, you know, pretty much being a stock car just with springs, even at the shop, I mean, every time I pull your car in, they're like, damn, that thing looks good. And every single time.
Well, when I get the wheels on it, you'll understand. I have a vision for 20-inch wheels. Because I think 20s will fit on that.
20s would look good.
But where do you see it going from here? What do you, if you, sorry, we never got to know what your V-dub was. I said mine was.
Oh.
You never
Yeah,
answered.
Me?
All time.
I mean,
it's a bus, isn't it?
it's hard. Like I mean, for me, I think what I would do, it would be, man. I
He
think
almost
a
got
first,
me. He almost got me. I got talking and I forgot.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
kind of hoping you didn't come back to it.
He's
I
like,
think.
don't come back to me. Don't come back to me.
First thing, I mean, I would do a first gen Mark I Golf, and kind of go all out. If I can, you know, if I had the money and go everything, I would go from bare frame. I would take a 3.6 VR6, which we have, or what I have in the Passat. I mean, a lot of people have known, like Eurowise, there's a lot of kits they have to do that swap. Shave the bay, wire tuck. If I can make an all-wheel drive, I would do it. Do an all-wheel drive conversion, big brakes all the way around.
Damn.
He's gonna sit here and play it off like he hasn't thought
Man,
about
like,
this shit.
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing.
Like,
man.
you're like,
you put some
I
thought
don't know,
into this.
I don't know. Okay,
I mean,
would do this. I would tuck wires. I would shave it.
Yeah, I mean, I've put, you know, I would Recaro seats, clean, you know, still NA, all motor.
Okay.
I mean, in a car that only weighs, you know, 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
It'll move. And somehow working some AC in there too.
I'm telling you, dude. Like he's like played it off like he had no
Yeah,
idea what his
that was
first one
smooth,
would
man.
be.
That was
pretty
smooth.
good.
So-
That's a nice build. I can't picture off the top of my head what that looks like, but I will find one for the YouTube,
Yeah, check
and
it out.
I'll put a
And
picture up on YouTube.
That'd be
color,
clean, man. That'd be
color
clean.
wise,
Oh, yeah, what
I don't
color?
know. I mean,
Purple.
no, it would have to be.
I'd drive a
Oh
purple.
man,
Says the color
It would have to be like a
blind man.
neutral. I would like it to like stand out, but not stand out. Where, you know, where it makes how can I, you know, just something basic.
Catches your eye,
Catches
but it
your
doesn't
eye,
like
where,
punch you in
like-
the face.
Yeah, where like you would have to look and be like, oh shit, like that looks good.
Yeah.
But not where, you know, the first look, like, you know, a cop comes by and he's like, oh shit, there goes trouble. Like,
See, like, that's
don't
what I
want
liked
that.
about when I had the Tacoma, because I had the quicksand color, which is like a
Yeah.
tan dirt. I don't know what you want to call it. if I could do it all over again, like if I had that Tacoma and I could pick a paint job,
Yeah.
I'd pick OD green, like military, like deep,
Yeah.
like orange, deep forest green,
Yeah.
and put that on there.
Have
I
you
think
seen the
that'd
new
be
one?
looking
The
right.
new one, the army green is
haven't
pretty
seen it.
sick. It's
They have one green now.
yeah, it had the TRD Pro, well, all the pros, Pro Tundra, Tacoma, come in an army green for 2020, and even the Tacoma comes with a factory TRD snorkel. It's pretty sick.
Really?
Yeah, and
If I could have a TRD Pro, any model, it would be the 4Runner.
yeah, I like
Because it's not as big as the Land Cruiser, to where I know you probably have some trouble fitting through some Jeep trails, but it's big enough to do everything you need inside the truck. I
Yeah.
loved my Tacoma, but I use the bed a lot. I need the bed more now that I don't have it, which is really funny. But I feel like the 4Runner is just a more comfortable ride.
4Runners. I would, if out of all Toyota wise, 4Runners. I mean, Land Cruiser is great. I mean, it's talking about a
$85,000 truck.
Yeah,
but
it's crazy.
I mean, more reasonable. 4Runner is great. I mean, I love the 4Runner, especially a pro or even just an off road. It's a great car.
Yeah.
And I actually have a customer. I did a supercharger on one and TRD supercharger Magnuson because TRD doesn't make it anymore.
Right.
But this guy.
Oh yeah, they stopped doing that.
Yeah,
The supercharger
they stopped
on the.
making it.
I know they were testing it. Did it ever actually come out?
They made one, but I believe 2015 they discontinued it.
So I remember I went to oh man, what is that? 4Runner Experience, I want to say it's called. The dude used to live down here with his wife. He now lives in, I think, Ohio. And they moved up there so they could actually do 4Runner Experience across the country. But he's got a whole bunch of stuff. Tacoma, he's got a Tundra, he's had 4Runners. But yeah, I went up there, and when we were up there, one of the 4Runners had the supercharger in it. And he overheated because he was off-roading, and all the mud was getting up into the airflow. Like I know the intake had a little mud on it, the radiator had mud on it, and all that stuff, and it started to overheat.
Got
and
gummed up.
got gummed up. So they had to pretty much pull it over, clean it all off, and then go back at it again. But that thing hauled ass. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty quick.
No, they're not bad. I mean, that supercharger makes, easy about 85 horsepower. 100 pounds of torque. But when you're off-roading, especially let's say in the Carolinas or something,
Getting up them hills.
if you have bigger wheels and let's say carrying more dead weight of, whatever gear you have, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people be like, oh, that's $5,000 or $6,000 that's a lot of money. But for the right person, for
You
the
feel
right
it, you
use,
know
it definitely makes a big difference.
We see any racing in the future?
With my cars, I mean, I want to do it.
With my babies, can't hurt the babies.
I want to do a build for the track. What I want to do yet right now, it's in the air. I mean, I don't know when. I mean, maybe something if I find a shell or hopefully be a Volkswagen shell. Down the line on OfferUp or Craigslist for a good deal and. Maybe I might start something, but
Rich and I, when Rich was on the show, he was talking about the rotary engine Volkswagen Beetle. If I could find the video again, I'll put it back up on that. But if you want to see on Rich Montalvo's episode on that show, there's a rotary engine Volkswagen Beetle, and it hauls ass.
yeah, check
If
that out.
you do the build, I would expect your race build to be some outlandish shit. Some stuff that like nobody's ever seen before. I just feel like that's what you would come up with.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to do something where you go to a track and I have a Camaro or something and be like, oh, look at this little Volkswagen there. And then
Smoke
just
it.
kind of surprise them. I mean, nothing, I'm not talking about like a 9-second car, but maybe, a high 11 or something that's quick, but nothing too crazy.
I feel you, man. I feel you. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I've never been a Volkswagen fan, but the ones you drive I really do enjoy.
I feel like you like the challenge of making something look clean.
Yeah, I mean, I try. That's what I try to like just keep it something, just clean, simple, but still be like, that looks good. that's kind of my style. Everyone has their own preference. Some people have crazy camber wheels, and or some people are all just about speed.
How do you feel about those camber wheels?
I knew that was coming.
Because we've had our things like we want somebody to come on the show and explain why it's done.
Why people do it? I've asked so many people. I can see, a small amount of camber to make a wheel fit. A couple of degrees of camber. Fine, that's
sometimes it doesn't even look that bad.
It doesn't look bad, but when people are starting to put like a
dinner plates on cars and shit,
a 12-inch wheel on a Corolla, and the wheels look like they're about to fall off. I don't understand. I guess yes. It's a look, but
it's not your look.
Yeah, it's not my look. Doesn't ride to me. Doesn't ride smooth. You got to worry about every pothole, and it's just, to me, it's just a headache. But
Speaking of lifts, though, when you lift something,
changing ride. Oh, when you lifting, do I like the lifts?
we've been talking that one
the
time.
Carolina squat.
It's
the ass is on the ground, the front's like all the way up in the air.
Yeah, that style.
That was a good debate too.
I don't know if they just went, they're saving up money to do the other half, or I don't know. Like it's, some people say, oh yeah, that's the way I want it, but
That's exactly
what Lewis said, dude.
Yeah, I don't. That style, I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, man.
I feel you. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show. Where can people follow you on Instagram and stuff like that?
Instagram, it's _Erick ERICK 773. You can always see what my cars, my traveling. I don't know where I'm going to go this year. All this quarantine, coronavirus going on. Also, I kind of post stuff I do at work, between lift kits or, just look random, cool stuff. Sometimes, a little laugh here and there what you find in cars, or, can't really post stuff like that. But,
Hey, if you need any work on your car, hit up Erick. Hit us up if you need him. He does great work. I'll stick by that. And again, even if I changed cars, which I don't see me changing cars anytime soon, Erick will be my mechanic. But did you have any other questions for us,
No, man.
I really appreciate you coming out tonight.
no problem.
It was
Thank
a good little laugh show. We had a good little time. You're our first VW guest.
Oh, maybe
That's why I was so excited to have you on, because I've never had anybody talk VW.
So always the first time for something. So.
I did have one more question. If there was a VW shop around, I'm sure there is. There's a few that I know, one off the top of my head. If you were to send somebody over to a VW shop, if they didn't come to you to get their work done, which I think they should, but if they didn't come to you and they wanted to go to a shop for that specialized in that, is there a specific one that you would tell people to go towards?
If there's something like that I can't get to, or something a little bit too much where or I'm too tied up, or especially for tuning, you have 305 VW for people down a little bit south, which are like Opelika area. Great friends of mine do great work. They also do a lot of different swaps. You also have, who else do you have? For tuning wise, up around Coral Springs area, you have Luftek. He's a great modifier as well. He just did a Mark 6 GTI VR6 swap, which is very sick. A lot of particular things, for tuning, modifying anything. Luftek is very great. And also USP has a lot of stuff. You can also get a lot of parts shipped locally, especially if you're in South Florida. They shipped all over, but you can get like next day shipping because they're so close.
That's cool.
Which is not bad. But yeah, those three around here. Palm Beach, I'm not too, more Broward and North Miami that I know of. But yeah, you got a couple of different options.
Hell yeah.
And you have me too.
I'm telling you, I swear to go, Erick's the way to go. All right, yo, you good?
Good.
I'm good. You good?
Good.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, share it, tell your friends. beardedgaragistas.com is always up. Take a look at that as well. And on top of that, if you're listening to the podcast, give us 5 stars, do your thing. I'm not trying to tell you to give us 5 stars, but just give us 5 stars. Just do it.
Please.
Come on now.
Please.
But yeah, we'll see you guys later. We have a bunch of episodes coming up, bunch of good content for you. So
Our
stay
wives
tuned.
are mad at us.
Our wives are definitely mad at us because, frankly, I like doing what I'm doing here.
Luckily, I don't have to worry about that just yet. So
He's
Don't make the mistake.
He wants out. Oh,
I'm only kidding. I'll talk to you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.